Hi, this is the card that I would like to share with you today. This card was inspired by this card right here in the Spring's Occasion catalog, and I decided to make it a birthday card. And you can see that mine is quite different, but you can get inspiration from anywhere and put your own touch to it. To begin the creation of this card, we're going to stamp From My Heart to Yours from the Better Than Email stamp set. I'm using some white craft ink. I have a Stampin' Spot that I got from Paper Pumpkin. I really enjoy Paper Pumpkin. You'll see I'll use another item from Paper Pumpkin. It's definitely worth the subscription for all the projects you make and the items you get to keep and use on other projects. I can take that large rose stamp from the Rose Wonder stamp set, ink that up with some basic black archival ink because I'm going to do some watercoloring. So I'll get that all inked up. And then we're going to put the small leaf down near the left corner and the larger one up near the right corner. But I don't want it all the way at the bottom because we're going to do a little trimming. Stamp that down. I'm not concerned if my lines are perfect because they're going to be covered up with the die cut. We're going to take the aqua painters and some classic ink. You can use re-inkers, or if you have the ink pads, you just kind of squeeze. This back side has some nice give, and then that will put the ink on your lid. So I'm using Cucumber Crush for the leaves, and I'm going to use Watermelon Wonder for the rose. So we're just going to take our paintbrush. It has some water in it. I'm going to put a little water down first on my leaf area and then grab some ink and put that down. That just helps it travel a little bit better and it gives the image a smoother look. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that extra color. So I'm just going to squeeze that paintbrush so that the water cleans my brush. And we'll put that Cucumber Crush away and bring in the Watermelon Wonder. Go ahead and squeeze the back of it. And there we have our ink palette. While your watercolor image dries, you can die cut the largest rose from the Rose Garden Thinlet. You can, whenever I'm cutting out intricate dies like this, I use the precision base plate. It helps to get a very clean and easier to separate image like this. If you use just the regular cutting pads, you might notice that sometimes where you have these holes that you poke through, you'll have a little embossing of those holes because the die gets pushed into your plastic cutting plate, and so that allows the paper to be pushed up into those holes. Sometimes, depending on your machine, it's not very noticeable, but sometimes, especially if you're using the like gold or silver shiny sheets, then it can be more noticeable. And I think our image is dry now, so we can go ahead and get out our paper snips. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut along this bottom edge here, right along that line. Okay, so we have that cut, and I'm just going to take my die cut and just lay it on top and see if there's any areas that I need to trim. And that looks great. So now I'm going to take a little bit of adhesive and just put it kind of on the edges. This is going to be my top panel. So I'm just going to fold that and attach this up at the top like that, and then open it up, and then I'm going to just trim along my rows. We're just going to carefully remove the water paper rows from that and bring in a piece of vellum paper. And we're going to put some adhesive onto a very vanilla paper where our rose image is going to go. I'm using ATG. You can use the adhesive of your choice. You do want to try to get along the edge. You could even use the fine tip glue pen for this. I'm just going to put on some adhesive there. There we go. And take our vellum paper and lay that up against the edge here. Let's see, when it folds, I've got a little bit hanging down here. So I'm just going to take my paper snips and trim that. I'm going to go ahead and take some more adhesive and adhere the watercolor page. I'm going to put quite a bit of adhesive on it because, as you can see, the water kind of makes it want to curl up, and I want it to have a good adherence to the paper so it lies flat. You could also use Tombow Mono, Multi-Medium, or any adhesive of your choice. And I'm just going to make sure I go along the edges here. If I went a little too far, just push that back under. And I'm going to kind of line it up more here with my cuts than with the top. There we go. Next, I'm going to go ahead and stamp a sentiment here. I'm going to use Stays On black ink, and I have the Happy Birthday sentiment from the Rose Wonder stamp set. So I'm just going to twist and tap, ink that up good, and stamp that down here. Happy birthday. And then I want to also put What a Beautiful Blessing You Are to Me on the inside. So I'm going to ink that up with the Stays On as well, or you could use the basic black. I want that up near the top so that it's not visible through my vellum sheet. And crease this with my bone folder. So we're going to go ahead and adhere our rose die cut. So I'm going to flip it over and going to use the fine tip glue pen. It has a very fine tip here, and this inserts into the tip to prevent it from clogging. So I'm just going to put a small amount all around on my rose die. Okay, so we're going to add this over top. This glue does dry clear, so just put some pressure on that. You do want to try not to use too much so it doesn't squirt out everywhere. We're just going to take our paper snips and snip off this extra overhang of black. then to close your fine tip glue pen, you just line it up so that that little needle-like metal piece goes into the tip, and tighten that up. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put adhesive of choice onto the back of this very vanilla card. I'm going to put a little extra because with the weight of the watercolor paper, the extra vellum, and etc., don't want it to fall. Got my basic black here, and I'm just going to center this on here and make sure that's adhered. Let's see. There you go. You can see that shine, that little bit of glimmer. Now, I'm going to add just a little bit more. I've got these Melon Wonder sequins here. This I got, it was an exclusive paper pumpkin embellishment that came in the January kit. That's one of the perks about the paper pumpkin is you get wonderful embellishments that are not available anywhere else. So as a subscriber, you can purchase past kits that are available. So I'm just going to take about, I think, 5 of them, an odd number is good. And I'm going to, with my fine tip glue pen, I'm just going to place a few randomly. So I think that finishes the card for today, featuring the Rose Wonder and Rose Garden bundle set, as well as a few exclusive paper pumpkin items. Thank you for joining me today.